Hi, this is Sugar Cyanide, and you are watching House of Cyanide. I just wanted to kind of give you my video resume, if you will, for lack of a better way of explaining it. I call myself normally I just call myself a pagan and leave it at that. I just identify as pagan. Technically, I am a pagan shamanistic witch, which is kind of a heavy wording, and it's specifically pagan shamanistic witch. So, pagan is my spiritual beliefs or my religious beliefs. Shamanistic means that I can see, work with, and talk to spirits, animals, the fae, things of not the material plane. And then witch means that I actually practice the craft. I actually do spell work. I actually do divination. I actually do healings and things of this nature. And the reason why I use those three words specifically and not just one, because technically one will cover all of it, is that you can be a witch without being shamanic. You can be a shaman without being a witch. And you can be pagan without being shamanic or a witch. So, I specifically identify as a pagan shamanic witch. I do have a lot of roots in my actual magical practice in Wicca, because that's where I started. And I do have a lot of roots in ceremonial magic. Also, I do hoodoo. I do a little voodoo as well. I really just like everything. So I don't stick to one specific way of doing things. I am very eclectic to the point that I work with everything. I consider myself dual-handed, and what I mean by that is there's a right-hand path and there's a left-hand path. I walk both paths. So I study left-hand path as well as right-hand path. So most people veer one way or the other. I have veered one way or the other in my past practice, but I am now walking down the line of that path. So I'm obviously no longer Wiccan. I haven't been, and actually it's Neo-Wiccan. I haven't been Neo-Wiccan for probably about 10 years, and I have been on this spiritual quest for probably about 17 years. I'm dating myself. I am dating myself a whole lot. So, and I've been shamanistic my whole life. I've saw spirits. I've talked to animals. It was one of the gifts / curses, if you will, that I was born with, because each gift has a downside to it. So, I was, in some ways, a very troubled child because of that, especially without having people understanding what I was seeing and going through, and things of that nature. So, right about the time that I was in middle school, I started learning about Wicca. And by the time I graduated from high school, I had decided that I was still going to be pagan, I was still going to be a witch, but I was no longer going to follow the Wiccan path. There were just other things that caught my curiosity, if you will. So I am a dedicant to Bast. She claimed me when I was a small child. I can't even tell you how old I was. She's been with me always. but I also work with Hecate or Hecate, depending on how you want to pronounce her name. Ishtar, let's see, Brigitte, or Brigid in the Celtic pantheon, Mama Brigitte as the luau in the Voodoo pantheon, if you will. I work with Baron Samedi in the Voodoo. I work with Set in the Egyptian. I work with Anubis in the Egyptian. I work with a little bit with Loki in the Norse. Again, very, very, very eclectic. So, but Bast is my primary. She's claimed me. So, I work with other deities, but only with her permission. If, isn't quite, with her blessing, is probably a better way of putting that. So, that's just a little bit about me and my spiritual path and my faith. I'm sure with answering this, I am simply creating more questions than answering them. I'm going to actually try to write my spiritual manifesto or my spiritual creed and have it all down in writing, because I have been working on exactly what I believe for a very long time, and I think now is time to actually formally write it down and put it on paper and have precise words and languages for these very imprecise thoughts and ideologies and emotions. So it's like trying to describe green. How do you describe green? You know, so how do you describe a color? It just is. So, but I think it's time for me to at least try. So that's part of why I started House of Cyanide. For those of you that followed me from my other channel, I really want to start making this more of a priority, and I wanted to share some of the knowledge and the experience that I've obtained, and of course learn more, because like Socrates, the more I learn, the more I realize I need to learn more, or the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know. So I look forward to sharing what I know and learning with you and from you. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.